G'day viewers, welcome to Sunday, and as you can tell my voice is a little bit crap. That's okay. It's the joys of catching a cold. Today we're going to be running Flying Scotsman, but I thought I might start by doing something just a little bit different. So I'm going to run 3 scenarios today, and you'll notice that they've all got, well, you would if they weren't scrolling, you'd notice they all had TSD in front of them. Now, these used to run in the evening and into the night, so it wasn't very streaming friendly, so I changed the times on them all. And I thought people might be interested in seeing how I actually do that, because it's not really that hard. So if there's a scenario that you want to mess with, so let's pick... no, wrong route. Wrong route. Actually, no, it's the right route. No, got it right. Let's say we wanted to mess with a Grand Day Out Part 1. You clone it. Make a copy. I always stick TSD in front of the ones I've cloned. And apart from that, I leave them alone. So you go and find the one that you cloned. There it is. And edit. Never edit the original one. Thanks, NJTE. And thank you, Darko Trains. Now, this came on pretty suddenly. I actually felt quite good yesterday. And then came back here and mowed the grass and did some garden work. And bang. That's okay. Now, the first thing you need to do when you're doing one of these, if changing the times, is this panel here, which was nestled over on the right-hand side. And you only get one chance to do this, really. There are other ways to get to it. But let's say you wanted to run it 2 hours earlier, so it's just 18 minus 2, 16, and get out of there. But then you have to go and edit the entire timetable. So this one's got a lot, so I won't do them all. But basically, you double-click the little head. And so this one starts at 18:29, so you change that to be 16:29, and then close that. And you'll see it'll recalculate. And then you just go through each train. You do each train like that. And change them all. And close that to recalculate. Don't press the OK button, though. And you can just flip through them all. You don't have to wait for it to finish running the timetable. You can see it's got some errors because there's timetables that are clashing because I haven't changed them all. But anyway, let's jump out of there. And of course, the only way out is to press the play button. But we're not going to do that. We're going to go and run the Flying Scotsman. It's a combination of a cold that's come in and hay fever, unfortunately. Come on, let me out of here. Yes, it's very pretty. Let me out. Let me out, let me out, let me out. Let me out. Don't want to play this. It's always funny when you get scenarios that insist on hanging around. Anyway, we are going to be running on London Peterborough, but we're not running the 180. We're running the Flying Scotsman, as promised. And I picked these ones because they're not just straight end-to-end runs. They do things. So they're a bit more interesting. But like I said, I had to change their time because they start out in the evening, but then they run at night, which just isn't that great for streaming. Good evening, driver. Please open your doors here at Peterborough and prepare to depart in 2 minutes. You'll then drive to Stevenage via an intermediate stop at Huntington. More information is available in your briefing. Alright, doors open. Cylinder cock's open, which of course gets noisy. Oops. So there's our little beast there. Actually, let me close the cocks for now. I'll start them up again when we open. They are just a bit noisy. It says our beast, the Flying Scotsman. It's a reskin of an older model, so don't be expecting too much from it in the cab. For example, there are 2 viewing positions in the cab. That's it. You do have all the controls. It does have TPWS, which is kind of cool. One thing I really do like is the water gauges. Now this one, the boiler is completely and utterly full, which is probably not an ideal circumstance because it might prime. But that's okay. Why I like these water gauges is these ones are relatively realistic. You can see how the diagonal lines in here go this way, so they go upwards. But when the water's in front of them, they go downwards. So as the water drops, you'll actually see the lines go this way instead. So that's really cool. That is how that kind of water glass works. There's no passenger view in the trains. You end up outside if you try and use the passenger view. But let's go and have a look at our train. It's a big long thing of blood and custards. Should be some people in there by now. There they are. Typical rail fans. No serial killers today, I promise. And this fella we get to follow for the entire route, so he causes us a few disruptions here and there. G'day, mate. Is the news good? Hopefully it's good. You do look a little intense there. But it's okay. Ooh, must be time to go. Alright, back to the train. I'm just hoping rail driver's working. It is. Alright, brakes off. All the way off. All the way, full forwards, cocks open. And away we go. Very, very slowly. NJT asks if you edit scenario times, all trains should have their times changed as well. You have to do it. Just bringing our reverser back towards mid-gear as we pick up speed. Hear the safety valve blowing off there happily. I did include in my review that there's nothing appears when the safety valves blow off, they just make noise. How you doing, Invisible Fireman? Doing well? Yeah. You're stoking away merrily there. One thing that amuses me, being someone who actually fires trains, is the colour of the fires. They're always red and orange, because the people who go and look in trains, here's our nemesis that we'll be following. The people who go and look in trains when they're crafting them for games, they see them sitting in the station where the fire's got this dull red-orange glow. Out on the road, when you're working hard like this one is, they don't have a dull red-orange glow, they glow white hot. So hot that it hurts your face. Got to keep a bit of an eye on the TPWS warning indicator on the HUD. Am I showing my cursor? No, so you can't see it. But keep a little bit of an eye on that. Because if you don't keep a bit of an eye on it, just stop. Which is not all that desirable, really. And in fact, I wasn't keeping a close enough eye on it, because guess what's happening? We're being emergency stopped. Oh well. Bye-bye. See, how's that? Straight after saying you've got to keep an eye on it, I failed to keep an eye on it. That's okay. We'll be allowed to move again. Off we go, big green chuff monster. You can do it. The other thing I noticed after an emergency stop, you can get to 100% reverser, which would be slightly unusual. They need to use some more steam, clearly. But let's we won't catch up with the other train quite so quickly now. See, good things come from all bad things. Still blowing off the safeties. On our way to Huntingdon. We gradually pick up speed. And this is why steam isn't really used for commuting. It takes a long time to come to speed. Put it on the block now. So just to be a little bit different, instead of doing a picture quiz this time, we're doing a text quiz. There you go. First question's in the chat. Unfriendly electric train. Did the whistle back. It always amazes me in Britain how quickly you're in the countryside. As we gradually pick up speed in the big green monster. Industrious folks working away over here. Building something interesting. Who wants animation like this in Train Sim World 3? Still gradually increasing speed. Finally the safety valve is closed. We're using enough. How is our steam pressure? Still sitting on the red line. See what I mean about the water glass? It's as the water comes down, because we're using it, the lines only refract when there's water in front of them. No idea who thought of this, but it's actually really clever. I don't know who thought it was the Acela NJTE. I know who wished it was the Acela. That would be a nice addition one day to get that. Hey, look at the wheels on the tender. I've never noticed that before. Bounce, 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 bounce. That's a bit weird. That's okay. Like everything that's a bit weird in the games, just don't look at it. You'll notice Huntingdon never gets any closer either. It's 1.6 miles away. Everything looks happy. 65 miles an hour. He does love electric trains, yes. Very much so. Oh, look. Such a rare thing you see. Giant tractor poo. Oops, and I missed a gratuitous bridge shot. Damn it. That's okay. We'll live. Here comes another train, I think. No. No, just a shiny thing. So no one's going to guess when Huddersfield's due out? Flying Scotsman information. In January 1963, Alan Pegler bought Flying Scotsman. As part of the deal, Pegler negotiated a complete overhaul of the locomotive. It was converted back to single chimney condition and repainted in LNER livery. The tender was exchanged for a corridor type and an agreement made to enable it to run on the main line. In a blaze of publicity, Flying Scotsman ran its last train for British Railways on 14th of January 1963. That's before I was born. I did hear about that accident in JTE with the NNW. Oops, forgot to whistle the crossing. With the NNW 475. More unfriendly electric trains that don't whistle back. That's a little bit sad what happened with that. Can we beat the train here? Can we beat the train here? Oh, where's the crossing? There it is. Just. They open? I don't know. Find out. They do. Look at that. Keep her around 80 mile an hour for this run. It is a bit sad what happened to it, and I would have to suggest that the damage is probably more than people think. I suspect she'll be out of action for a little while. Didn't pierce the tube plate, which is good, but may well have strained it. It's not a superheated engine, so they didn't have to worry about that. That would have been an absolute disaster if the superheater headers had blown. That would have killed people. But fortunately, she's not. And I dare say the excavator's probably a little worse for wear too. Despite the lack of countdown, we're almost at Huntington. Responsibility over who would realign points would vary from railway to railway, so I probably can't comment on that one. What I would say though is it's the train crew, well, I don't know about that railway, but I know on ours, the train crews always check the road and communicate with each other. So you'd basically hear from fireman to driver or driver to fireman, whoever sees it first, depending which side of the loco they can see out of. You'd hear something like road set or road not set. And if there was any doubt at all, you'd hear red light, red light, red light, red light. You just keep saying it till they stop. So yes, a very unfortunate accident, and I'm betting that crew feels a little bit sorry for themselves. They're probably quite remorseful. I wouldn't think so, NJTE. There would have been a lot of steam if that had happened. Now, they could have broken some stays, though. I would suggest that's very likely they broke stays. That boiler will have to be very closely examined. Not saying what they'd do, but if I was responsible for that boiler, I'd be wanting to tear it down completely and do ultrasound and x-rays on it. the Huddersfield route for TSW 3, sorry. 3. Dave Randall, it certainly is out for this game. But when is it out for TSW 3? Nearly there. Yeah, that would have been all the soot that was dislodged out of the smoke box. So NJTE says a lot of black steam came out of the funnel right after the impact. That would have been soot from the tubes and from the smoke box, and it also probably launched most of the fire through the tubes as well, which would have been a bit interesting. But at least they had plenty of water on board. A sudden stop like that, if they didn't have plenty of water, if they were low, it would have revealed the crown chute, and that would have been a bit disastrous, but it looks like they had plenty, so good management. Just out of interest, everything that you see come out of a funnel, smokestack, chimney, whatever you want to call it, depending on where you live in the world, they're all right. The stuff you see coming out of there, even the white stuff, is not actually steam. It's water vapour. And yes, I do mean Birmingham Cross City, but it's actually called Huddersfield. So there you go. And yes, Dave Randall for the win. 10 points, Dave Randall. Oh, you were close there, Lexic Dark. Dave Randall just beat you to it. Huddersfield is Birmingham. Sorry for the confusion. When they were showing off their automated testing spreadsheet in the roadmap stream the other day, I freeze framed it and I was pouring through the list to try and find other routes. See if they leaked any. Hello, Richie Peach. How are you? NJT says both the MOW crew and the engineer were at fault. No. Yelling stop on a train's a really bad thing to do, by the way. Because it's common language. In Australian railways, we use uncommon language. We yell red light, red light, red light. Because it's not something you'd normally hear, so your ears prick up at it. Just going to come back into the cab because this thing's going to fire off in a moment. There we go. Message from the signaller: due to a faulty signal, you need to press tab. Interestingly, I ran this on a test run yesterday and I actually didn't have to press tab. I will enjoy Cross City, Richie Peach. We have a, oops, I zoomed in the wrong direction then. We have a line change indicator up here. Hello DLTV8, welcome. How are you? Coming into Huntingdon, platform 2. Just drifting our way in. Oh, I have no idea. Yeah, it's. I would avoid speculating on what happened with the accident in JTE. I always like to wait for the accident report to come out. I don't know that NTSB would get involved in that one though. They might. It was a little bit public. That might encourage them to join in. But no one was hurt, and generally speaking, the investigative agencies don't usually get involved if no one was hurt. And we are almost all safely through the points back there. Yeah, that's right, Lexicart. There usually are a lot of factors. And as someone who is on the footplate, you actually can't see much from the footplate of a locomotive, especially a steam locomotive. I do like that you can release vacuum brakes relatively quickly. Hello, CCT Mitch. How are you? Oh, you like the patrol video, Darko Trains. Cool. Yeah, I suspect the FRA probably would get involved in it in JTE. Almost at the end of the platform. Ah, that'll do. Let's get the doors open. Let them stop. Doors open. Yeah, I think it'll be a very interesting investigation, that one. It's good to see you yesterday, Mitch. In the appropriate guise for someone working in an engine shed, completely covered in black crap. Can't see my face. Oh. There we go. Sorry. You can see my face now. Not that anybody'd want to, but that's okay. Due to a faulty signal, press tab to pass signal P344 at danger. Well, interestingly, I think that's P344 up there. It is, and it's not at danger, so, you know. Who knows? Cops open, reverser forward, brakes off. Away we go. I'd be a little bit surprised if 475 was running again that quickly, unless they've got a lot of resources at that museum railway. I mean, maybe they do. Richie Preach grew up next to the Cross City line. Ah, well, you're going to answer some of the questions well, aren't you? I'll be very interested, Richie Peach, when I stream it. Hopefully you can join in. And I'll be curious to see how realistic you think it is. Because, of course, I have no exposure to the place, so no idea. Away we go with our big green monster. The blast pipe Northern Illinois train spotting would be in the bottom of the smoke box. The excavator went into the top. Now, if that funnel had a petticoat on it, which They don't necessarily have one. Some do, some don't. That probably got a bit flattened. And depending on where the blower is in that locomotive, they may have some issues. They may have issues with the main steam pipes down to the cylinders too. So if you look on... See, I'm flying Scotsman here. You can see the steam pipes coming in here, going down to the cylinder casting. Those are inside the smoke box, so if they were damaged, that loco may be out of service for a little while. Neil TV8 is excited to see how Cross City Line looks in TSW3 compared to TSC. Hey, there's an idea, Neil TV8. Run them both side by side. There's an idea for a video. And Richie Peach has been on the 323 more than he's had hot meals. That's a lot of hot meals. That's a lot of 323 rides. I'm not manually firing this thing, by the way, because manual firing in the game annoys me. It's good fun in real life, but in the game it just annoys me, so I don't. Off to Stevenage, platform 1, 9.5 miles away. Oh, that's cool, Brad, thank you. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. It's a lot of fun to do. So I thought I'd jack the GoPro at a few places in the trolley. My next Steam crew is a bit video friendly, so I'll ask them if I can pop it up in the cab somewhere. On Track Patrol it's much easier to have the thing in the cab, because when I want to move it I can just stop and move it, because I stop and start really quickly and I'm not impacting anybody by doing it. But we're not allowed to touch devices when we're moving, so... There's another big field of tractor poo. Big round tractor poo. And here's the tractor that's leaving all the big round tractor poo everywhere. Richie Peach says if he doesn't model the Cadbury's factory, he'll be sad. And Darko Train says he shares patrol on his Twitnet. Oh, thank you. And NJAT should check out the spam photos, apparently, from Northern Illinois train spotting. Brad asks, how hard would it be to compare TSW with TSC? How hard would it be on YouTube? Not very hard at all. I don't think I'd try and do it live, because then you'd actually have to run both games at the same time. And it would be a little heavy on machine resources. Oops, gotta go over there. What is this? It's a narrow boat. Good screenshot. Who wants reflections like that in Train Sim World? Oh, I hope that red's not on my track or I'm dead. No, mine's green. I think the modelling of the steaming of this locomotive must be just a little bit off. Because I can't believe I've got 80% regulator and I'm still making steam. It wasn't very cold yesterday, Darko. It was probably about 14 degrees or so. It turned into a very nice day. It's doing the same today. So here's our next cross-city question. 10 points again. Started to be a little bit naughty there. Well done, NJTE. Sound indeed, but why? I'll give you the points for the answer sound, but should probably explain why. Get out of the way. In May 1968, on the 40th anniversary of the first non-stop run, Flying Scotsman travelled non-stop from London King's Cross to Edinburgh. I don't have a Discord community for this channel, but there's a few people on the TSW3 channel. There you go, Brad MacArthur. I'll give you 10 points for that as well. It is the gear-changing sound. Neil TBH's got his own Discord. There you go. I contemplate setting one up every now and again, but I've never really done it. I don't know how much demand there'd be. Hello, David Park. Nit has shared his Discord channel in a public chat. Enjoy the spam. Oh well. Oh, did you say the inverter in JT? I missed that. You did indeed. Well, I'll give you 10 points as well. There you go. So you get 20. There will be some more questions as we progress. Don't share other people's Discords, Mr. Northern Illinois Train Spotting, if you don't want to be in a timeout. You share your own all you want, but don't share mine. Ah, Brad, you get 10 points as well. Oh, just thinking about it. It's all good. As we fly through the countryside. Trying not to get our cameras stuck in the wires. NJT says the inverter synthesizes the three-phase AC supply from the DC source by applying complex switching for patterns to 6-gate turn off thyristors. 13 different switching patterns are used in braking, 12 in traction. It's the changes in switching pattern that give the gear change effect. The distinctive tone change about halfway through the speed change is probably a tone change from the sine wave to square wave modulation. There you go. That was a mouthful. Yesterday was pretty good. Had some fun on the railway and then came home and did a heap of gardening and then fell to bits, unfortunately. Picked up a cold from somewhere. Oh, Northern Illinois train spotting. Do you really want a timeout? On our way to Stevenage. Not working. There we go. Heading down to all the way down here. Ooh, I'm being naughty. Naughty train simulator driver. Just let a bit of the speed wash off. Northern Illinois train spotting, would I like an FP40PH in the front of your yard? No, my wife would kill me. Yay for Stream Deck, you didn't have to hear that. Quite a big industry, isn't it? Wonder what it is. Yeah, lots of containers. David Park says VCT is coming out. I'm probably going to wait since the roadmap is also full of stuff. Definitely planning to get TSG stuff, but he'll wait. That's fair enough. You can often wait for the sales too. That can actually be quite advantageous. And Northern Illinois train spotting apparently needs more TSC routes. Fussed by a steam train. You're just going to walk straight through me, aren't you? Yep. Oh well. I'm surprised we didn't get a beep from the TPWS then. There's about 1,000 TSC routes, Northern Illinois train spotting. So there's plenty to choose from. And NJT is speculating on what the new US route will be for Train Sim World 3. He thinks that likely one of the two New Jersey transit routes, NJCL or M&E, who knows? And he hopes it's NJCL, since the southern portion after Long Branch's diesel will be funded with an LP45. Nah, who knows what it'll be, mate. Who knows? And Richie Peach is quite interested to see what the mystery route is. Oh, I'm sure everybody is. Hello, British Ace. How are you? Welcome. David says it'll be a while for a significant sale. Yeah. Who knows? Isn't it almost Black Friday? Steam do a sale on Black Friday, so who knows whether Dovetail will be in that or not. Welcome, Joe, from British Ace. And you're right, David, SimRail is, in theory, just around the corner. It'll be interesting to see how that pans out as well. Race down to this platform so we can watch the train come through. That was kind of funny. This guy turned around and had a look at it. British Ace says he's good, and the steam rail I work on looks beautiful. It is. I enjoy every time I get to go and play. Sorry, we don't play. We're a professional. I'll get told off for saying we play. Believe it or not, they watch things. Dave Randall just passed 59,000 miles driven on TSW. That's pretty impressive. I actually have no idea how far I've driven in the CSW franchise because I keep dumping my progression. I have no clue whatsoever. That red signal on my track? No, mine's green. Good. NJT says it would be easy to make a NJT route since they already have the license. Yeah, they have said that before, I think. Neil TV8 also thinks something with the ALP 46, since if they use the 45 with the K on the code. NJT asks, do I know Tateset? I've met Tateset. I do personally know 762 Productions and CCT Mitch. Both Puppy Billy people. Northern Illinois Train Spotting is going to go to a train show tomorrow. That's cool. Models or a real one? I think I just had my face torn off by an electric train. David Park thinks it's easier to create another section of the NEC, so the US Loco DLC, if you see a seller giving lots of gameplay opportunity. It'll be interesting to see if the seller comes out. There's a lot of people who are thinking that. So it will be very interesting indeed. You know, I looked at that station name, which is Arsley, and my demented brain said Arsley, which would be kind of funny. In 1969, Flying Scotsman headed to the United States on a touring headed to promote British exports. The tour broke even in its first year, but the second year lost money. A bid to balance the books, Pegler arranged for the train to travel to San Francisco. The trip worked well operationally, but was a financial disaster. Alvin Pegler was forced into bankruptcy as Scotsman was stranded in the USA. And almost scrapped, incidentally. The same thing happened to it when it came to Australia. lots of speculation going on about what the new US route might be. Elsie. Okay. Is this the one you're working on, British Ace? British Ace, for those of you who don't know, has a railway job. Quite cool. And I would imagine at some point would be looking for a path into driving. David Park says he might grind through Cane Creek. He doesn't really like freight since it has the least amount of services and finish it quickly so he can uninstall it. That's fair enough. If you want to grind on Cane Creek, put a Gronk on it. It takes 4 hours to get from the bottom of the hill to the top of the hill on a Gronk at 20 mile an hour. I also have to admit that Cane Creek's not that most exciting a route. It was a strange choice for Skyhook to make. I mean, it's pretty, and they used it to demonstrate some photogrammetry techniques which hadn't been used before, I don't think, but it's a lot of work for a demo. Neil TV8 thinks it could be the North Jersey coastline, Morristown, or the Northeast Corridor line. And British Ace worked at 3 bridges today for 12 hours, just assisting people with onward travel. The town called 3 Bridges in Victoria, where I live, is actually underwater at the moment. That's an interesting question in JTE. With a dual mode locomotive, how does that work in the codes? They're being passed. He clearly doesn't care about the 70 mile an hour speed limit. Where we go through another station. British Ace says, oh, his usual train stops at the station in question, although very far away. And David says the 45 DP is still power. British Ace says the first third from Potash to Moab is nice and the rest is completely dead. Yeah, I agree with that. Apart from the flying triangle of rocks, and that's always kind of cool. The dinosaurs are fun. Hello, Herman Bingstra. Welcome. Yeah, it's interesting, Neil TBA. I wonder what they do with the codes for the dual. I've never actually really looked at that too much. Should figure it out, huh? British Ace would like this particular route in Train Sim World, developed by ATS. Well, get onto them and give them a shove. I would imagine community feedback would probably help them decide. But give them a year or two to learn the tools. Moving from Train Sim to Unreal is a very big jump. The other ones that are coming on board are Union Workshop. While Dovetail's announcement talked about Chinese routes, the Union Workshop announcement on WeChat talks about Asian routes. Doesn't say anything about a specific country, so I'm kind of hoping for some Bing Bong trains from Japan, because I like them. David Park says the 45 DP could still be included and make the route only AC electric, wouldn't it still fit the code? It's interesting. Hello, Michael. How are you? Starting to slow down for Stevenage. Here's the next question for the quiz. Oh, that's really bad to hear, Michael. Hopefully someone else was the cause so you get a free car out of it. Ah, well done, NJTE. 10 points for you. We make our way into Stevenage, which will, I think, end this particular scenario. And then we'll run into the next one. For the people that came in late, we're running the White Rose scenarios, but I have altered the timing so that they run in daylight, because running them at night's a bit boring for streaming. I got to admit it's more fun to play it that way, but not so good for streaming. David Park says he would take any Japanese route made by Union Workshop. Don't have them all in TSC. Only have the story of Forest Rail. I've got a couple of their routes, and yeah, I quite like them. And I particularly like Bing Bong trains, just because they're so different. Hopefully you weren't injured or anything, Michael, and it's just a car. I know, just a car. It's a huge pain in the bum to lose your vehicle. But life is a lot more important. Our Flying Scotsman sneaks into Stevenage. Yeah, they do need a few more modern locomotives in TSW. I agree with that, David. Where's the back of the trains in the platform yet? Not quite. Got one carriage to go, which is actually going to put the front outside the platform, I think. So the loco's going to have to stop outside. Otherwise, the back of the train's not going to be in. That should do. That should have the back on. Yeah, last door's just on. Perfect. Not that the game thinks so, because it didn't open them. But that's okay. Glad to hear you're only shaken up, Michael. Yeah, I don't know, David. David asks, aren't most of the other modern UK freight locos operated under a TSC DT doesn't have the licence for? I mean, DB operates there and they've got that licence. You have completed the scenario successfully. Fantastic. Let's play part 2, which will also be my version of it, running 2 hours earlier. Off we go, continuing our trip. So we're heading into London now. Always vaguely tempted to restart the game when I change scenarios. Okay, driver, time to take the Flying Scotsman on the final leg of the White Rose rail tour up the line. Please allow the passengers to disembark here at Stevenage ahead of your booked 21:17 departure. We'll be taking the slows all the way to King's Cross. Information about the Flying Scotsman in 1973. Flying Scotsman was brought back to the UK after William McAlpine heard about the situation in the USA. He promptly put together a rescue plan, paying off the creditors and buying a locomotive. McAlpine had the engine restored at Derby Works and kept it running for 23 years in his ownership, extensively overhauling it twice. He even took Flying Scotsman to Australia, making it the first steam locomotive to circumnavigate the globe on its voyage there and back. While in Australia in 1989, it also claimed a record for the longest non-stop run. Now, interestingly, I don't think it was the first steam locomotive to circumnavigate the globe, because I reckon that was probably one or more of the austerity locos, the ones that were built for World War One, because some of those were shipped from the UK and the USA. Some of them made it to Australia, then they went off to France. So I think it's probably one of them, but that's okay. It's all part of the excitement. What is there to look at Stevenage while we watch this little red bar mischievously crawl its way along? You reckon those two guys are talking to each other on the phone? Each one going, hey, where's my brother? Twinsies. How you doing? Good coffee? Hopefully it's alright. Looks like a 1960s or 1970s style of architecture to me, with some more recent add-ons from the ramp over here. Assuming it's a ramp. Is it a ramp or stairs? It's a big black box. Okay, fair enough. Or rail fans. Hello, rail fans. How you doing? Having fun? Going on your big day out? Should be exciting. Where's the rest of him? Look, he's in here. Ah, it's funny. Following the successful tour of Australia, Flying Scotsman ran special trains around Britain, including regular runs over the famous Settle to Carlisle Railway and trips hauling the prestigious Orient Express Pullman train. Alright, let's get up here. Cocks open. Brakes off. Reverse the full forward. Air is good. Steam is good. I took some video of one of our locos yesterday, and the driver, Simon, noticed me doing it and kept the cocks open right through it, which always makes it look really nice. I suppose it's one of the cool things about our railway is that Everybody involved is a rail fan of some form or another. "27 miles to King's Cross, non-stop." I think we're going to want some more speed somehow. I've been trying to figure out where this locomotive likes to sit on the reverser. Seems to be about the 30% mark, where it keeps accelerating. Swirling effect to the smoke there. I don't think I've ever seen TSC do that before. Maybe I've just never noticed. Sit back here for a little while. Gradually accelerate. Ah, the famous Nebworth. The station. There you go. Here's another 10 points. Why is Nebworth famous? That looks remarkably... It is a yellow signal. I don't know if I'm going to make this. I'm in emergency. I reckon I'm going through it. Yep. That wasn't good at all. Screwing up at Nebworth. I won't live that down in a hurry, will I? Oh well. Oh well. What are you gonna do, eh? What are you gonna do? Wah, 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 wah. Hey, look, even the game doesn't put the back coach in the platform. Yes, Neil TV8. Lol. Indeed. Now we have to wait for the passengers to get in again. Does that mean I get 20 points myself for actually demonstrating why Nebworth's famous? Lexic Dark says there's evidence of people living in the area as far back as the 11th century, as it is mentioned in the Doomsday Book of 1086, where it's referred to as Steppenword. There you go. That's cool. Go on, drink your coffee. There you go. We're going to watch you drink coffee while we wait. Wait. Run away? Sigh. Clearly didn't want to be on film. I'm going to watch our crew for a little while. Who thinks TSC would be better if they had crew all the time? It'd be good, wouldn't it? Following the successful tour of Australia, yeah, we've done that. If only it would stay here. Here we go. It is kind of interesting, the history of people in the world. Can I actually get inside the locomotive with this camera? No, it won't quite let me. But I can watch them. On the block. Let's go. Where the fireman looks over at where he's got the regulator and goes, "Oh, I'm gonna have to work really hard." There are times when I miss the HUD for signals. Excavators who spend all day making piles out of piles, and sometimes holes out of piles. I should probably pay attention this time, shouldn't I? Gradually pick up our speed, climbing this very gentle gradient. There's evidence of people in Australia going back 65,000 years is the oldest being found for the Australian Aborigines. Such a rich history, many stories. I read somewhere, Lexic Dark, that the Old English language is actually relatively close to German. See you later, Brad. Hope you enjoy the truck patrol video when you get a chance to watch. I'm not falling for it again. Did anyone answer why is Nebworth famous? Doesn't look like it. Waiting for? Lexic Dark says, yes indeed, the jokers that a Frenchman, German and Scandinavian went into a bar. By the end of the night they'd invented English. And it's pretty much the truth of it. It does seem that way, doesn't it? It's, and we've inherited it and made it our own. Well done, Dave. And it wasn't just once. For that one. Now I'm going so slowly the signal that was red may not even be red anymore. Let's go have a look. No, it's still red. I think he's done it repeatedly. Light ahead, mate. What else is Matt famous for, Dave? Apart from PowerPoint. Yellow, isn't it? Not going to accelerate too hard. Because the next one will still be at red. Probably pick up a little bit of speed though. Darko Trains asks, what class can we use more on the new British route from others on TSW when they release? Well, I suppose you can use any of them in off-the-rails mode. You can build your own scenarios and use any loco you want. As for what's substituting, if anything, I don't think they've announced that. Ah, very good, Dave. Fish fans in the harbour. Yes, the Matt Peddleston Free Willy moment. I think my signal is red. My signal's green. There we go then. Power up. I did notice when I edited the timetable that there was a train in front of this one. Oh, this next speed limit's wishful thinking for Flying Scotsman. I have heard mention of a couple of others. I think I think I've heard mention of a 470 or something along those lines. Perhaps British Ace, if you're still here, could comment on that. Yellow, flashing yellow. One up there is also flashing yellow. Bonk into the cab where I can no longer see anything. Can't see my signals anymore. The 166. Yeah, I don't know. I think I heard mention that the 150s run on there. So you could grab the West Cornwall 150 and run it in off the rails mode if you wanted to. It'd be nice to come out of this tunnel so I can actually see this signal. Just hope it's not red, won't we? The other one was flashing yellow, so it shouldn't be. The worst it should be is yellow and the next one red. Lexic Dark came up with another reason why the Nebworth was famous. Queen's last live performance. Well, that says my question. The signal is yellow. The flashing single yellow, so next one should be solid yellow, shouldn't it? We'll just continue our crawl into Wellman. So you could jump into livery designer Darko Trains and create yourself a GWR 150. Or wait for someone else to do it. I'm sure someone will. Hello, NJT, back again. You missed me Nebworthing Nebworth. Straight through the red. Lexic Dark also says Nebworth's famous for in August 2003, Robbie Williams performed with the largest crowd ever assembled for a single performer. That's kind of cool. Now, as soon as we pop out, do we have a horrible surprise with this signal? No, it's green or yellow. Don't have to stop. Just know that's good German techno. Yellow with a track change. Oh, guess who didn't acknowledge a signal? That's okay. Because we'll acknowledge it now. Try not to wheel spin our way out of here. Or alternatively, let's wheel spin our way out of here. Looks like it won't wheel spin. It's one of those locos that can't. All fan. And gratuitous bridge shot at the same time. Dave Randall was at the Robbie Williams gig. That's cool. quite clear to see why steam engines got phased out. Smelly, dirty, hot, but more importantly from the commercial standpoint, really slow. We better keep an eye out for signals, since there's a reason I got knocked. We'll be crossing over onto the slow line here again, I believe. There we go. And our next signal is green. Darko asks, do I have a favourite route on Train Sim World? The one I've driven the most is Boston. And I think I like it because it's really hectic. But that said, I don't think I've actually driven it, apart from doing some derail testing in the last 6 months. So I did drive it a lot, but not so much anymore. I think my second favourite route is actually Dresden-Chemnitz. I really don't know why, but I do seem to play that one quite a bit. Pretty serious yard over there. We'll keep all the commuter trains by the look of it. Is my signal the green one or the red one? I'm not sure. It's the green one. We're okay. We're okay. More power. Did you get forced to go to a concert, Dave? Nice of you to go with her. Lexic Dark says in 96, Oasis played there to 250,000 people over 2 nights. 2.5 million people, 4% of the British population applied for tickets. That would have been impressive. That's like a football grand final when 2 million people want to go and only 100,000 can. Does anyone else wish the drive-by camera wouldn't have top views quite as much as it does? On our way to Hatfield. Might be time for the next question. So this is Cross City. Whistling away merrily as you do. $37 miles for a new one. Sounds about right. 60 kilometres, I think. But you hope the next signal's green. Hello, bald man who materialised from nowhere. Dave Randall says he lives half a mile from where Robbie Williams grew up. Still now being single, he gets to go and see the bands he wants. Going to see Evanescence and Within Temptation in 10 days. That sounds awesome. Nice little spark from the overhead there. I've often wondered if steam engines do any damage to the overhead. They wouldn't when they're running like this, but what about when they're just sitting there at stations? Because the stuff coming out of a funnel's pretty bloody hot. That's well timed. Parallel run. Coming into Brooklands Park. And the station platform that's not on the map, apparently. Interesting. NJT says he didn't know himself he was at the top of the leaderboard till yesterday. Well, there you go. Just, you know, sometimes it makes you acknowledge those speed signs and sometimes not. Says he's almost having a heart attack as he pops back outside and sees a red light. Ah! They're all standing behind the yellow line here. Oh, there's always one. Coming up to Harry's station. Potter's Bar. I have a faint suspicion, even though a lot of people other than you have answered questions today, I think you'll probably still be on top after today. Yeah, I think so. Looks like it. To our next question now. There's the real reason he used to stand behind the yellow line. Drones following trains. And JT is pretty good on the Google. 10 points again. My next questions will be harder to Google. Coming up to Hadley Wood. Maybe there's a Viagra factory there. Yeah, we're trapped in a tunnel. And a signal right at the end of the tunnel. Or is it in it? It's in it. Fortunately, it's green. Imagine popping out of that tunnel to a red. How did we end up out here? Well, there's the train, clearly. Next question. And JT gets it again. There's something you don't see anymore. Gasometers. NJT beat you to that one a little bit there, Dave. Into Brighton. Certainly the stations are getting closer together as we get into the city. I'm not sure if I got a TPWS for a yellow signal or for a... No, it's green. I just saw it. I wasn't quite sure then. Dave's going to the chocolate factory next a week and a bit away. Might come out of Stone Heavier, yes. Back in the dark ages when I was a scout leader, I took my troop to the Cadbury factory once. I ate a lot. A lot. They weren't allowed to take anything with them, but they could eat as much as they wanted from the demo room. So they did. Sounds like a good rail fan bridge. Wait till after the stream when I put your new points in the spreadsheet, NJTE, and we'll see. That would be an IKEA, I assume. It being blue and yellow. See if you can get this one. I don't really know, Dave. I wouldn't think there'd be a lot of difference, because it'd be all South American stuff anyway. But who knows if they use different formulas for different local tastes. This is an impressive run of greens into such a busy city. I'd be surprised if this happened in reality. Ooh, the frame rate's starting to suffer a little bit. All this overhead. Yeah, it's down to about 33. It normally sits on about 60. That's alright. Probably don't look at the distant things too much. Maybe, Dave, if you grab some Australian and UK ones and find out. I mean, most of the chocolate I eat is Lindt. It's the cheaper of the better brands. It's one thing I find sad about TSC is we model all these giant yards, but there's never anything in them, because if you populate them, the game crashes. That was the yard my spooky special from started for the Halloween special, just to say it too. Haringe. No, not oxlips or violets. I have to admit it's a slightly sneaky question. I don't know how many people will pick it up. I think mine's the green one. I'm hoping. Yep.
See, in the original scenario, this would have arrived in total darkness. This is where situational awareness and route knowledge would really help you, because I'm glancing around and I'm seeing red lights and I'm trying to figure out whether they're on my track or not, whereas if I knew this route, I would know. Hey, while you're still thinking on what is the flower associated with the line, what should I stream next week? I don't think I'll have Cross City by then. As an ambassador, I think I'll get it a couple of days later, so it won't be that. So what should I run? What would you like to see? Over the overpass and then under the underpass by the look of it. Lexic Dark says, fun biological thing. Craving chocolate indicates a magnesium deficiency. Oh, you need more bananas. Unfortunately, refined sugar removes magnesium from your body unless the chocolatiers notice. What is the first letter of the flower? D. Green light. Dave Randall for the win. Quick on the keyboard. Well done. You just edge out NJT there. Guess what I just did? High speed train up there, well done. Well, I hope my signal is the yellow one, because it'll be a long way to go to Sped now. That's right, Lexic. Darkbeard is the name of the guard. Daisy Sealy. Told you it was a sneaky question. So we crawl our way into King's Cross. Coming into platform 8. Vacuum brakes are a little bit nicer to use than Westinghouse brakes. Back of the train in yet? Not quite. Gonna have to go right up to the end so the back of the train's in. At least at this speed, if I hit the buffer, it would just go bong. Nearly. It'd make yourself really popular in an enclosed building like this if you had your fire a bit wrong and you started spewing out yellow sulphur smoke. To King's Cross. Let's have a look around. Oh, you've made it down here too, with your coffee. Very good. How do you drink coffee without opening your mouth? It's popular here. And another one. Let's see if we can keep up with the train. I was actually impressed in the scenario to see so many put your feet up and have a brew whilst maintaining the fire. There's one more. It's a short one, though. I think it's short, anyway. This will be it for today. 10:28. We're actually finishing a bit early. But we'll run this last little one, which is putting the train away. Evening, driver. It's 23:30 and our booked departure to head to Hornsby Depot has arrived. Propelling our locomotive and support coach down the line, so maximum speed is 40. Set off when ready. Into reverse. Not that we really need to go into full reverse because it's only one coach, but we will. The locomotive was repaired again in the early 1990s, at which time the pop impresario Pete Waterman formed a short-lived partnership with Sir William McAlpine to run the locomotive. In February 1996, businessman Tony Marchington bought Scotsman outright for $1.25 million. Yeah, I've changed all the scenarios to be running 2 hours early. In JT, we'd like to look at the 365. Could almost feel the smoke, can't you? Scotty clearly wants to be home. Fortunately, I'm stuck in a tunnel now, EJT. Otherwise, I would have. Uphill we go. Gasworks tunnel. And an invisible fire person. Hello? Always sounds like a telephone ringing to me. It'd be nice if I could actually see the signal. Dave Randall asked, what's my opinion? Was Flying Scotsman the first steam train to 100 mile an hour or City of Truro? I don't actually know. It's an interesting question. I imagine there's people who fight over it constantly. Sounds like the kind of thing railway people would fight about. And do Wikipedia and Reddit have the same opinion? Well, this is dark there. Green light, fortunately. Yay, out of the tunnel. I would have thought in a situation like this, they'd probably rock up with a diesel and collect these two and drag them out of there. I couldn't imagine really being allowed to propel your coach on the main line. She's got no visibility. Just checking through the chat, doesn't look like anybody had any thoughts about what should be streamed next week. David asked, do I prefer the East Coast main line or the West Coast main line? I have a faint suspicion no matter what I said there, I just end up in trouble. One day I hope to visit and experience them both. Be cool to visit all these places that I've only seen in games. I've ridden some of it. I've ridden the LIRR, ridden on the NEC. See, apart from signal visibility, if someone fell off the platform or jumped off coming through here, you'd never even know. You wouldn't even feel it. Yes, NJT, Long Island Railroad. I have ridden on it. Ridden lots of New York subway lines, ridden practically everything in California. I've done the Amtrak Coast Daylight and the Amtrak Coast Starlight. Both from Oregon rather than Seattle though. TSC had several main lines, wondering what the differences are, like WCML, ECML, MML, GML, etc. I think it came down to who built them originally, because they were different railway companies built all the lines that eventually became British Rail and then got split up again. The way railway companies are going over there, wouldn't surprise me if they get nationalised again. I think I didn't acknowledge that quick enough. Look at all my gauges at 0, I think I'm right. Innsbruck. Happy smiley locomotives. There you go, NGT. This is the modern problem with modern mainline preserved steam if you don't have a home depot to go to. So the majority of our steam runs out of Steam Rail's depot in Williamstown or the Seymour depot. Where are we putting this little locomotive? Hello, Aiden's train in the unstoppable world. Who's a spam bot? They're bots that dump chat comments. I don't have too much trouble with spam bots because I've got the enhanced comment protection turned on. They tend to get picked up. They also have their most popular words that they use not allowed. Right, Dave Randall. There we go. And that brings us to the end of our run for the Flying Scotsman today. And I'll have to think about what to run for next week. I'll probably go back to TSW for next week, because I haven't done TSW for a little while. Alrighty, 2004, Flying Scotsman hit the headlines again with yet another crisis. Surprise! Campaign spearheaded by the National Railway Museum to save the locomotive for the nation, and mass support of thousands, confirming its status as a national treasure. And that's the version we see here, with British Rail logo and 60103. There we go. Am I meant to move again? Apparently I am. Okay. Well, we're not quite at the end then, but I have a red light. Off we go. Okay, so it's not the van. There's no rack rail in TSW. There is a Rosalini. I haven't streamed that for a while. Maybe I'll stream that. I think there's a almost a tram as well. Or is that in? I'm trying to think. Is that in Train Sim World or a Train Sim Classic? I think it's in Train Sim Classic. Good thing I changed the scenario times. This would be totally black otherwise. This is just what a fireman wants. Right near the end of the trip and you've got to shovel. Because you've got to get up a hill. Having an insulated cup's good because giant mug of tea, it stays warm. You missed out, Mitz. Quite a steep little hill, this one. Going into siding E. Roll down the hill. And then we probably get to set back into that one. Lexic Dark says the Mount Pilatus line is the super cool visual one. 48% gradients and 35% average. That's pretty steep. I assume that's a rack railway. I couldn't imagine an ordinary adhesion railway going that steep. But you like electric trains, Nick. You love them. You keep telling me how happy you are that Metra's getting battery locomotives. I have to say, you two are kind of funny. What if we get away with stopping here? Find out. Good to see its loco brake actually works. Nice one, Lexic Dark. You're going to make his head go. The appeal to keep the Sting icon in Britain was supported by a £1.8 million grant from the National Heritage Memorial Fund and the generosity of the public. Its restoration was completed with the help of the National Heritage Lottery Fund. When you say Northern Illinois train spotting, what'll happen if railroad museums get diesels? Ours does. We have 3 diesels. We have 6 operating steam locos currently. Maybe 7. 7, I think. When you ask that, how will they afford the fuel? Do you have any idea how much coal costs? The coal for our railway, the coal itself, very cheap, but we truck it from Queensland, so it comes about 2,500 kilometres down to us. Because it's the only place we can get it from. It's a weird little noise it makes. It's not quite that much, but trucking it costs more than getting it. We had a couple of bad batches, yes, but now it's quite good. Northern Illinois Train Spotting says 6 axle diesels cost $3 to $4 million. I'd probably say more like $25 million at least. Clearly don't enforce the stop boards. I don't think you'd get a locomotive for $5 million. Our most recent steam locomotive restoration cost more than that. Surely they would have paid for a shed spot for this thing down in there. And they're just leaving it sitting in some siding. There we go. And that brings us to the end of the scenario and the end of the stream. And questions-wise, Dave Randall, total of 30. NJTE, total of 50. 60, sorry. And Brad MacArthur, 10. There we go. Did you really think that message would actually get through there, Northern Illinois Train Spotting? See? Google whacked you. Alrighty, time to damp down the fire and head into the support coach to bed down for the night. No, they live in the coach. That's kind of cool. Alrighty. Well, have fun, folks. I think we'll do some Rosalini in Train Sim World 3 next week. Why not? Maybe I'll make a scenario if I get really excited, if I get time to do it. We'll probably do something else as well, because the Rosalini by itself is a little short. And it's all 30 kilometres an hour, so people get bored. Alrighty, have fun, folks. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure having you along again. Thank you for all of the comments and all of the fun. And yeah, enjoy. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please think about subscribing. And if you want to join the channel, feel free. Alrighty, have fun, folks. See you later. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I always like to get your feedback in the form of likes and comments because they help me understand what you want. Give the channel a subscribe and click on the tinkly things so you don't miss out on any new stuff. And thanks for your ongoing support. And please, be safe out there.